It's a good place for a drain off tap, isn't it? 3 inches below the concrete floor. I don't know if it's just on the drain off tap. Let's switch it on. It's leaking from somewhere. Right, we've just got the liner down for this wood stove. What I need to do now, it was the right game to get this liner down, to be honest with you. I've marked my arm a little bit, but it's in. I've just got stuck halfway. But what I need to do now is work out where my register plate's going. Basically, what I want is a fire to fit 50mm off the finished wall. So, got that register plate I need to work out, because obviously that's the centre. The stovepipe will come through there with this adapter that goes onto the liner. So that fits onto the liner, then the vitreous goes into that, through that closure plate. So we just need to work out where that goes, distance, get that cut, and then get this fixed to the wall. So this will sit. Sorry about that, I just got interrupted. So this will sit through the closure plate. This obviously fixes onto the liner. And then the closure plate sits there, and then the stovepipe goes into it. So we've got some black vitreous to come off the top of the appliance. I'll get some shots as I go along anyway. But the awkward bit, to be honest with you, is fixing that closure plate up there. That's always the hard bit. Obviously you're not supposed to use any plastic plugs or anything because of the heat. So that's always the awkward bit. So yeah, hopefully we should be alright. I just put an old dish sheet down back on the brickwork. We did have it all covered down while I was pulling the liner up. Sometimes you get bits of soot and stuff dropping on, which will stay in the brickwork. There's my mates at the top just positioning it. What I need to do is get this cut off and get that adapter fixed. Obviously fire cemented in and fixed in place. And hopefully we can then work out the register plate. So cut them like that, and then I normally find you can break that off and then you can unpeel the liner to where you want it. It makes it a little bit easier. Obviously wear gloves because this stuff is razor sharp. So you're trying to, you might just get the snips back in there, but you're trying to break it off. Obviously I've not cut it to the exact length yet, and then we can sort that bit in a minute. Normally, hard to do one-handed, but that will just come off for us. He says, obviously wear gloves because this stuff is razor sharp. So we just need to tack screw that on there like that, and that will sit. It should go up a little bit just below our register plate then. But we'll get that fire cemented and screwed on, and that should just about do us. It's always awkward to get a neat cut. That's not too bad, to be fair. It should be fine. Obviously my arm's a little bit rough, just getting the liner up. You sometimes have to slap them, and that sounds a bit wrong, just to get them up, because there's a bend on the chimney near the top. It was just not going around the corner, but should be all right now. Right, that's got the adapter all fitted. Obviously we've screwed it and it's all fire cemented up, so I've rammed this full of fire cement in here and across the top, so there's no chance of that leaking. Obviously we need to test it all anyway when we're done, but all that happens now is the vitreous goes into that, but in theory that should just sit below our closure plate, and then our flue goes into that. So the worst bit, to be honest, is getting this fixed on here. So I need to work out how far this needs to be off the back wall. Obviously we've got some cement board going on the bricks yet, but ideally the back of the appliance needs to be 50mm. Just get my tape measure out off the thing. So if the centre of the flue is, what, 80mm, so 80 plus 50 plus the cement board, and that will tell me whereabouts I need to cut for my register plate, how much we need to cut off the back. Obviously we need to trim the sides down as well, but we'll have to cut the back and the front of that register plate and somehow work out how we're going to fix it. I normally use like concrete bolts if we can get them in, because you don't need to plug them, but we'll have a look anyway. That's going to be the worst bit, and then get all that fixed, and then they can either do the hardy board or the cement board, but we might just sit the appliance in for the time being and just have a look how it looks. Right, so we need to cut that there, because that will give me 50mm at the back of the appliance then. So we'll run a straight edge down there. The wall might not be straight, but we'll just have to feather it in. We need to seal it anyway at the back, and then obviously we'll cut the front down and the sides. These are just so you can access the flue joint or see the flue joint if you need to and clean any debris. You don't actually need them with this type of fire, but they are better if they've got them, because it just gives you access to the chimney then. All a register plate does is obviously keeps the heat in the room, and it stops any debris dropping down the chimney as well. So that's all it does. You also need 300 in front of your appliance from the front to put it on the hearth. So we've definitely got that on this. Obviously we've got roughly about 370. So the front of the appliance will sit there, and then we need a 300 gap to the front, which we have got. So that'll be perfect. What I need to do is try and get this plate fixed. I probably need to adjust it a little bit more yet. Back at the top, so there's some L brackets that are supplied. We need to try and anchor them in and then get that fitted. This is always, as I say, this is always the awkward part. Trying to do everything one-handed. As I say, what I normally do is get my L brackets in. Sometimes you can sit that plate on top, but I think this will have to go underneath and then tech screw this plate up to it. That's the only way I can get that in on this one, I think. It's never easy. That's always the awkward bit, to be fair. But once that's in, all the rest of it is a doddle. What I'm going to try and do is frame fix that to the wall at the right height. I drill some holes in that, put a frame all the way around, and then we'll just tech screw that up, tech screw the plate up. But you don't want to use plugs because obviously they'll melt, so I'm going to try and use fishy ones where you don't have to use plugs. They should just drill straight in, hopefully, in theory. So as I say, once this is set up, that's the worst bit done. It's trying to get that level and set and then screwed up, and then that through there. What you do with these is drill a 6mm hole, in my case a 5.5 because I haven't got a 6mm bit, and they'll just bang in with a security screw bit. So they've got a special end on them, and that way you don't need to plug the wall, and that'll get a really good fix in. So designed to go into like concrete, they're for window frame fixings really, but they'll be fine for this. And then we'll get that plate fixed, and yeah, hopefully it should be alright. I've just got to get this fixed onto my plate now, so that'll go in front of there. Oops, dropped it down, but just got to get it screwed on, hopefully. Always awkward to do one-handed, but it should be okay. All I'm doing is self-drilling that and then use self-tappers just to hold the plate up, and then you shouldn't really see the fixings anyway. I'm going to spray this black anyway, and that will tuck up and it will look perfect when it's done. Right, you should end up with something that looks like that. I need to silicone around this with heat-proof silicone now. And this plate will be sprayed black anyway, so we've got the plate coming through the middle. And yeah, hopefully that should be alright. Obviously we've got a little gap at the front, but you can't do a lot about that when everything's uneven, the brickwork and stuff, but should be okay. That should seal, no problem at all. I use this Regan high temperature sealant just to go around the outside, so we'll fill all the gaps with that, and then as I say, this will be sprayed black anyway, so it should look good. Right, I've run around with my fire silicone. You won't see a lot of that anyway when the fireboard goes up. As I say, it's a really good fit on the plate anyway, so that should be fine. What I'm going to do is have a good tidy up now, and then I can just carefully position the wood burner. I'm not actually going to fit it, I don't think, because obviously they'll probably want to get the board in first, but we can get the flue cut and yeah, sit it in position just to show you what it's going to look like. Now we've got the register plate fitted, we shouldn't have any more bits dropping down, so it's safe to just clean this off, and hopefully, I'll just give that a wipe off. Hopefully it should be fine. As I say, they've done the top bit as well, and yeah, I can position the stove and we'll get the flue pipe cut up to it then. This is the stove, it's the little Furlow, I think it's 5 kilowatt this model. There's a heat shield that goes on the back of these as well, and then obviously there's a plate that clamps on top that goes into the vitreous matte black flue pipe. So they're well packaged. I really like these ones, to be honest with you. That'll be the plate, I'd imagine. So yeah, quite a nice little stove. Obviously you get all your bits and bobs. So yeah, nice units really. I think they're made in Pickering in North Yorkshire, beautiful part of the country as well. So yeah, lovely little stove. So roughly just position the appliance, don't worry about the marks on top, I'll get them off at the end. I use WD-40 actually, and it stops them drying all smeary as well. What I need to do is measure the distance in between the top of our appliance to our plate, or our starter piece on the flue liner, and obviously we'll get that cut, and then yeah, obviously I might not completely fit it today because obviously they want to get all the cement board done, but at least it gives you a rough idea of how we sort of go about installing them. Obviously it's with the safety checks, it's similar to obviously like an open fire or a gas fire. So obviously we do smoke test 1 where we block the top of the chimney, then we do smoke test 2 where we check our air washes and our controls, and then obviously we do spillage tests and stuff. Obviously very similar to the way you do gas, with obviously doors and windows shut and then ventilation and stuff like that, but it's all interesting stuff. But if you can do like gas fires, obviously heat gas is a separate qualification. There's no reason why you can't sort of switch over. That's what I did. I do get a lot of inquiries and stuff for wood burners, so yeah, that's why I decided to do the course. Obviously just double check with the insurance, make sure you're insured, and there's nothing really to stop you once you've done your course and your qualification fitting them. I really enjoy it because it's varied work, but other people will disagree. But yeah, as I say, you won't see much of that plate once it's all in anyway, and we'll get that sprayed black as well, so you never see it. But they are awkward, but that one's not looking too bad at all, to be fair. 3 o'clock on a Friday and we're chopping the floor up, trying to find a leak. It's water peeing out. No idea where it's coming from. It's just a copper pipe disappearing into the floor. We'll have a look. Not going to be easy. I don't know if it's just pinholed or what. It's coming up that floor lower down, I think. Not too sure yet. That pipe is bending under that wall. That might be the incoming main. Or feeding something else. Not too sure where it's leaking. Let's just turn it. There's a valve here that isolates it, but it's peeing out somewhere. The pipe, you can hear it leaking, but it's going that way. Where's that coming from? It might even be coming from, might even be leaking on that side. I think it is actually, isn't it? I don't know if you can see it, but it's pouring out down there, look. That ain't good. It's up, there's a T there. I think it's leaking on the back of the T. I can't tell if it's below or above. I need to get a lot more of this floor out and try. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. That's why you shouldn't put pipes in concrete floors. It's a good place for a drain off tap, isn't it? 3 inches below the concrete floor. I don't know if it's just on the drain off tap. Let's switch it on. It's leaking from somewhere. I don't think it's on the drain off. I think it's on the pipe. That fitting just broke off. Whatever it was into is gone. So I need to get that sucked out and have a look. The pipe's there, whether we can get back onto it or not. Well, we'll have to. That's where it'll be leaking. Just got to get it fixed now. Hopefully they've not got any rubbish in that pipe. I'll get the water sucked out, I'll chop up a bit more and get it sorted. Just use my little sucker thing to suck the water out. Just got to get it onto that pipe. Not sure what we're going to do it with yet. I'll have to do it so much. Just pinhole there, look, as well. No.
We'll clean that, get this